News time is 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Thursday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. We stream to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. At last month's DeWitt County Board meeting, Board Chair Dan Matthews encouraged the board to consider how to use the funds from the sale of the Clinton Lake Marina. Matthews offered some ideas for how those funds could be used.
The next item that's on here is not for a motion as such. It's determination what to do with proceeds from the sale of the marina. It's more of a question we brought up in discussion in finance about the funds is, could they be used for future economic development? Also taking into consideration the part of the agreement was right of first refusal. If the property was to be sold in the first 5 years, do we need to hold some funds? Not that this board wants it back, but I guess speaking for myself. So I guess I just asked that be put on there, Mr. Markwell, to get a little guidance from you and just have the open discussion of what we could possibly do with those funds.
The state's attorney, Dan Markwell, told Matthews and the board they needed to decide first how to budget the dollars. He says the board has a couple of options on how to budget, then use those monies.
First of all, you've got to budget them. So if you're choosing to use them, you need to put them in the upcoming budget. You can always put it in the general fund, and if you don't have anything currently allocated, it'll be there to use, but it really kind of depends on the board. They need to be used, something for the benefit
of the
community. It can be used to, fund the county, and thereby, you may not have to levy as much. You could reduce the taxes. You could, if you did like a early retirement incentive, and potentially have, older employees retire early, and then you wouldn't have to amortize the monies for that because you've got it, you can pay it and bring in people at lower cost theoretically. You can augment various budgets, whether it's economic development or mental health or whatever it is, that might be a need out there for. I guess if you got a specific thought on something, you can let me know, but as long as you're using it for the benefit, of the citizens of the county, there's not a real restriction.
While Matthews did not have any specific ideas in mind, board member Joe Whitty suggested putting that money aside for a couple of years to make sure everything at the marina remains on the up and up.
If I can add, we talked a little bit about that in the marina when we met last, and we specifically asked for the right of first refusal in case this does sell. And so let's say something happens in the next year and this goes up for sale. If we put this money in the general fund and use it on something else, we're not going to have the money in the budget to take up that provision that we specifically wanted in the contract. So my thought would be that we don't have to do anything immediately. We can put that money in a fund till we see that the marina is being developed. I think they came in with an SUP last week to start the campground. And if they develop this like we think, then obviously we probably would not be able to repurchase that. But if something falls through and it goes up for sale, and we really want to retain control, we've got to have the money there. And so I would say we set the money aside for a period of time. It doesn't have to be the full amount forever, but until that provision is no longer going to be viable, we need to have the money somewhere where it's accessible in case it does go up for sale. That would be my thought. So I don't know that we need to make a decision on this immediately. If we set it aside for a year and see where the marina is and then the campground, and a year from now, if it's starting to get developed out of our price range, then we decide at that point in time how do we use the fund. But that would be my suggestion. I think it's something to consider. If we don't really need that right of first refusal, then let's spend it. But that's worthless if we can't afford to.
Matthews told Regional Radio there's a lot of directions the county could direct those dollars to reinvest in the community.
Mr. Ferguson and I and others, Joe Whitty, the rest of the Marina Committee, I've also just talked about what can we do with the funds we receive from the Marina, right? We want to further economic development. We talked a little bit about the other night, we had a presentation of finance from the grocery co-op that's trying to get off the ground in Farmer City. That could potentially be something that we could help with some funds that we received from the Marina. So we just, again, I brought that to the attention of the board is, hey, let's think about what we can do with this money, kind of like ARPA funds as well.
Sure.
This is not something we get, $1 million+ to be able to do some good things with.
Yep.
So get everybody thinking about it.
The board did not take a vote on any specific uses for those dollars last month. A new group to help those who struggle with food addiction is meeting in DeWitt County. Overeaters Anonymous is a group aimed at helping those who have issues with food consumption. The group is led by Robert Garcia, who admits this is something personal for him, but he also aims to help others through his struggle.
Clinton OA is the official new support group that is launched as a local chapter of the National Overeaters Anonymous here in DeWitt County, Illinois. And we're really excited. We have a 60-year history of helping people realize that food addiction is a real addiction and that we should listen to and follow the advice of the medical experts in the industry. And I personally have struggled with it for years and have found specifically the tools of recovery in OA to be extremely helpful and empowering. So I'm excited to be a part of the community and to help bring this resource here as well. My personal experience with this group and others like it is twofold. One, I've been a member where I myself personally have found the tools to recovery extremely empowering. And second, I have led these groups before in other communities, some virtual, some in person, some outside of OA, but very specifically around food addiction and eating disorders. And so my experience with it and my background with it are both, yes, I definitely want to help the community and I find it self-rewarding, but I would be lying if I didn't disclose as well that part of the reason I do this is really selfish on my part because I find it helpful and I want that tool to be available to me as well.
If you enjoy food but are not sure if it's an addiction, or maybe you suspect food addiction is something you battle but are not sure, Garcia explains there are several things to look for in your eating habits.
That's an excellent question. There are a few ways that the experts have told us, hey, these are some things that we should all be self-aware of. One is if you find that you're using it as a crutch when you're stressed, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling depressed, that's an indicator that it may be something that you're dealing with in an unhealthy relationship. If you find that you're starting to have health issues, that's very key because of that indulging in food. It may be an addictive process that you see that it's unhealthy, you see that it's starting to affect your quality of life, your ability to move, etc., but you tell yourself, oh, I just indulge, but it doesn't control me. Those are the types of thoughts that are an indicator that seeking help may be helpful for you.
Overeaters Anonymous meets on Sunday afternoons at Anytime Fitness in Clinton. ClintonOA.org has more information on Overeaters Anonymous in Clinton and DeWitt County. We stream to Facebook and YouTube on this Thursday, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Get the latest in local news anytime from your computer or mobile device